How do you run a successful social media contest? We see them all over our social media feeds. People want to win, but how do you get it so that people are engaged and you are getting the results that you want to see? So best practices to make sure that your social media contest is successful. One is making sure that your social media contest is open long enough so that people can participate. You don't want to post it and then close it too quickly. Oftentimes, if you have a huge following, maybe it's better to close it just a little earlier to make sure that you're not totally flooded with contestants, and also not keeping it too short where people might not see it. Another thing to keep in mind is, depending on your social media presence, you might want to keep the social media contest to one platform, or you might want to span it across all of them. The more you do, the more entries you get into the contest. But then again, that's also something you have to consider as you're entering a contest, because that's going to make it a little more complicated to calculate those results. Also important, making your contest prize enticing, right? Worst thing is you have a contest and then nobody enters, or one or two people enter. Again, not a fail, but for more success, we want to make sure that that prize is something that people want, and that's going to drive people to enter this contest. Depending on your budget, usually it can be something like a social media shout out, especially if you have a pretty good platform, people want to be known. That's a great way to incentivize them to enter. Another way is a discount on your product or service. If they're following you already, they probably do enjoy your product. So just offering that discount can be incentivizing. And then if you're even more comfortable, possibly free product or free experience. And this is great for, you see those like win to for getaway to Hawaii. And while those are oftentimes very big and feel like you're giving away a lot, you're probably also going to see that boost in numbers and entries and responders. While running a contest, people often forget that you should have a detailed terms page. This is just so in case that anyone gets upset, feels like that they weren't treated the way that they should have been for this contest, you have the legal in writing, and that's been there since the beginning of your contest. This usually lives as like a terms and conditions page on your website, and just making sure that that's there just to keep you from going through anything that could turn really messy. And lastly, just encouraging people to tag, repost, share. Really just using the power of word of mouth from these types of contests can blow up the contest and blow up your company and getting seen in front of people. Some common mistakes and misconceptions that people have about contests are that sometimes having too many contests, you are losing engagement from each one. If you have a contest, say every single week, while that's super exciting for the consumer, sometimes they might get a little worn out. Probably limiting the contest to maybe once a month or even once a season, just depending again on the size of the prize. Making the contest too difficult to enter. As I mentioned before, if you make it really difficult just to even get one entry in, people are probably going to just not even bother. So making sure that it is simple to enter just for that point of entry, that they're able to enter pretty easily. Less entries doesn't always mean unsuccessful. Oftentimes, success of a contest is just getting that data about your consumers, maybe next time doing something a little differently. That's really going to help you in the long run. It's not always about the number of people that enter. In general, we would say don't get hung up on getting quick results. It's really about the longevity of your brand and keeping those people engaged for as long as possible. Usually, you really just want to know, this is something that I want to do for my audience. These social media contests can also just help engage some new folks, right? People who haven't heard of your brand. Get people excited about your brand again, develop some brand loyalty. Hopefully that translates into something big, but oftentimes it's really just about developing that trust between you and your consumers. So that is a really good way to make sure that your social media contest is successful.